All right, I wanted to give you an example of a sequential game. I realized that if I put this on a test, say, I would ask you to draw up the game tree. I wouldn't give you the pre-made game tree, so be ready to do that. Anyway, let's go through this. This is one of the last ones in the homework. Imagine yourself sitting in your car in a campus parking lot that is currently full. This brings back bad memories. This exact event happened to me, and this smirking townie stole the parking place from me when I was in Hanover, New Hampshire. Anyway, somebody pulls out. Same moment, a driver who has just arrived overtakes you. Obvious attempt to park in the vacated spot. Now, the parking place is worth $10 to park in it. The same is that it's worth $10 to you too. Getting in a confrontation is unpleasant, and both this driver and you would pay up to $30 to avoid a confrontation. So here we have it. So model this situation as a two-stage decision tree in which his bid to take the space is the opening move, and your strategies are 1, to protest, and 2, not to protest. And if you protest, the rules of the game specify that he has to let you take the space, but you will have had an argument. So let's think about the payoffs here. If the other driver leaves the spot for you, there's no confrontation. You get 10. The other driver doesn't get anything. They're at 0. Now, on the other hand, if the driver attempts to steal, things look different. If you protest, on the one hand, you get the space, but you've had this protest, so you're at -20. And then the other driver doesn't get the space and has had this protest, has had this confrontation, they're at -30. But if you just defer, you just say, it's not worth it fighting with these bozos, and you avoid a confrontation, well, you get 0. You don't have the parking place and you haven't had this confrontation. The other driver gets the space. So let's solve this game backward. And this is a little bit of a weird one, since we don't have, you don't protest if the other person just gives you the space. So the only far out node we have is this one. So if you protest, you get -20. If you don't protest, you get 0. -20 is worse than 0, so we lop off that branch. So now we move back a node. This driver sizes you up for who you are. If they steal the space, they get the space, and if they don't, they get 0. So what's going to happen is that jerk is going to get the space from you. And so you get 0, and the other driver gets 10. Now, it's a more normal way to state the equilibrium in terms of the strategies that each play. And so other driver steals, you defer. That's the way we'd say it. First mover, second mover. What would be the advantage of being able to communicate credibly to the other driver that your failure to protest would be a significant psychological cost to you, maybe a cost of 25? Now, this would be having a gun rack in your big old beat-up pickup truck, maybe some Hells Angels tattoos or decals on your window, some credible signal. Maybe those aren't credible, but some signal that you were just itching to have an argument that doesn't bother you at all. And you wouldn't ever walk away because that would make you feel like a wuss. As it did me, by the way. my girlfriend at the time barely persuaded me not to slash the person's tires. We were outside a police station at the time as well. It would not have ended well for me had I followed my gut instincts. Anyway, this was many, many years ago. As a young man, I wasn't as wise and calm as I am now. What would be the advantage of being able to communicate credibly to the other driver that your failure? All right. If I'm going to change colors. If you could display this aversion to walking away credibly, how would that change the payoffs? Well, only one note. If you deferred, and in this new case, instead of getting 0, avoiding an argument, you actually suffer this having to walk away from a fight, and that would be negative 25. So in this case, negative 20 is better than negative 25. You are not going to defer. We'd prune that one. And then knowing that, the asshole, basically, for lack of a better word, anybody that would do this obviously doesn't deserve our respect. Anybody that would steal a space in the situation. If they steal, they know they're going to get an argument, and if they don't, they know they're just not going to get the space. So in this case, negative 20 is worse than 0. So we'd slash off that branch of that tree, and your ability to signal your badassedness, say, would get you that place in this game. So the other driver will believe that you would protest if he attempts to steal your spot. So that's the advantage of signaling such information about yourself. You know, other people won't go near you if you signal that way. They'll say, "Whoa, let's leave that person alone. You may miss out on meeting the love of your life," or something like that. So there's downsides to signaling that badassedness too. All right, here we go.